Good evening. Good evening and welcome to Rumble Time. I am your host, Queen Gemini. This evening, boy, do we have a lot to talk about. From SmackDown to Raw and Clash in Paris. There has been some changes to that card, so we're gonna get all into it. So let's get started. We're gonna start first with SmackDown. SmackDown was a good show. It really was. It was good all the way up until the main event. It was a short main event, but once you found out who was in the main event, you'll see why. But to kick off the show, it Becky Lynch came out. They was in Dublin, and she came out, and Lord, she just went off on the poor little people in Dublin, and I mean, she's a heel, so she's gonna do heel stuff. So yeah, she was just off the chain, but they got off to a good start. Then we ended up with uh Nia Jax out there, Jay, Tiffany. The, it ended up in a brawl, so it ended up being decided to be our main event for the night. I was like, okay, here we go. Let's see how long this is gonna last, but we'll get to that in a moment. Um, MFT had a match with the Street Profits. Now it was JD and what's his name? Tomaloa? Tongaloa. Okay. And then you got Tala Tonga and Solo out there, on the outside. They doing what they do best, interfere and all that good stuff. Well, Jimmy came out, and he was going at it with Tala Tonga, and they ended up over the barricade fighting towards, you know, out through the crowd towards back, right? Well, Solo standing up on the table, Sammy comes out of nowhere and swipes them legs, and then them two going at it. Instead of the other two paying attention to what they doing, the Street Profits get the upper hand, and they got that 1, 2, 3. So the Street Profits got the win. I was happy about that. So now, now we move on to now we ain't seen Cody in a few weeks. We ain't seen Cody since Drew Claymored his head through the announce table. So Drew comes out with this whole thing again. Cody this, Cody. I zoned out because I didn't want to hear nothing he had to say, right? Because the same thing. You can't. I think he said something about you can't dodge me forever or something. Whatever. He just going on and on and on. Did nobody want to hear that? So he gets up in the ring. He's still running off at the daggone mouth instead of paying attention to your surroundings. And guess who sneaks up behind him? No, it was not Cody. It was Randy Orton. And he hit him with that RKO. Oh, it was priceless. Oh, I was so happy. Oh, when I say I lit my house up, yelling, I lit my house up. I was so happy because I was tired of hearing him talk. Now, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Cody. I have no clue. Nobody has said anything. He's like, "What's the update?" Because he's been acting for the last 2 weeks. That's to Friday. What's the update on Cody? Ain't nobody giving no kind of update or anything. And I'm like, you better leave him wherever he's at while you can, because he will pay you back for that. But we're moving right along. Uh, R Truth. You gotta love R Truth. R Truth had a match against Aleister Black scheduled. Well, it pops up on the screen. Our truth. He's like, yeah, I went to the wrong Dublin. I went to Dublin, Georgia. I didn't know there was another Dublin. And I was like, oh, this is. I'm like, I shouldn't be laughing, but Aster's looking like, all serious, like, the hell. And, but Truth says, but don't worry, I got you. Say hello to my little friend. And it was none other than Damian Priest. When I say Damian came out there and got the wailing on Alistair, yeah, because about 3 weeks ago, Alistair had put him out and thought he had put him out for good. Nope. He came back and he came back full force. It was on. I was like, oh, this is getting good. So yeah, at some point we're gonna have a rematch with them too. Um, Cena, John. When I say now, I was waiting on this. I'm like, now, you better when you cut your promo on Logan Paul, you better go in on him. And when I say he went in on Logan, he went in on Logan. Cause Logan standing there at one point and it looked like he didn't know. Well, like, I wasn't expecting this. You want to be in the wrestling business, you should know, you should do your research on these guys, especially John Cena. It was classic. He My favorite part that he said you used us for some branding opportunity so you could buy another Pokemon card. And he had went outside of that ring, and that little prime stand they always have set up right there ringside. He flipped all that over. I said yes. I was happy he flipped. I'm so sick of seeing that standing there. I was like, yes, he went all into it. And then he mentioned something about Logan Paul having some legal issues because he's like, you might not be here too long. You got some legal issues. I'm like, what kind of legal issues he got going on? What you talking about? Tell us, so now I got to do some research and see if I can find out what's going on with him. So, yeah, that he did. I was impressed. I was impressed with that I was impressed. I was like, okay, John did his thing. Now we down to the main event. Yeah, it didn't last that long. It did. It did. It didn't last that long. Um, I think about a total of 6 minutes. If you blink, it's gonna be over with. Um, it was one of those matches. Don't go and get no snack. Don't try to do no bathroom break. You could hold it long enough to get through this match. Trust me. That's how short this match was. Becky ended up walking off, leaving Nia. So it was basically 2-on-1. And Tiffany and Jay got the 1, 2, 3. They got the win. I'm gonna tell you something. It's getting a little frightening. Um, it's already getting a little frightening because Tiffany was doing way more in NXT than what she's doing on since she's been called up to the main roster. She was putting it seemed like more effort into it. Um so I don't know what's happening. It's just like you can do better than this. We're gonna pray for Jade. That's all I'm saying. Up next, NXT had a PLE this weekend. Heat Wave. When I say I was disappointed, I was all the way disappointed. The referees make me sick. Oh my god. I'm trying to think of something nice to say about this whole thing. Okay, we just gonna jump into it. The kickoff show was at 7, so it was about an hour long, and then the show started. I mean, the kickoff show was at 6. The show started at 7. Now I see. I'm starting to see why, from time to time, they are bringing. They was making for actually for tonight should have been part of the PLE instead of some of the matches that we ended up having. I was like, well, how come that's not a PL part of this PLE? I'm like, okay, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I don't do the booking, but okay. Okay, the first match to kick it off was to determine who would be the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. It was Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, and Lola Vice. Lola Vice was the winner. I was happy either way with her or Kalani. So Lola set it up all nice and sweet. She really did. Cause she let Jada run into Kalani and then she rolled Jada up and she got that 3 count and that settled all of that. But I give it to now. Okay, I guess I can't. I will give that match credit. The ladies did good. They did good. I was impressed with with them. So I wasn't disappointed in that one. The next match, the second match of the night, was for the tag team titles. It was the champions, Hank and Tank versus Dark State. Supposed to be 2 members of Dark State. It was all 4 members because I don't know how the referee let instead of making the other 2 leave, we got basically these 2. I mean, Hank and Tank gave it all their all. They did. They gave it their all. But you're fighting 4 dudes, so it's only 2 of y'all. So I really, I really wanted to punch the referee because I'm like, make these other 2 leave, but no, we couldn't do that. So there's new NXT Tag Team Champions, and that's uh they had chose Lennox and Osiris, to represent them. But like I said, it was all 4 of them in this match. But now Dark State has the tag team titles. That it really highly ticked me off. These refs, their refs, I really don't like the NXT refs. I really don't. The third match of the night was for the TNA Knockout World Championship. Once again, you seeing one group. We got 2 different groups down there. You seeing one group, you catch them, you see them, but you act like you don't see the other people. So you send the one group back, but you leave the other ones, and of course they help their little, person. The one I wanted to win did not win, and the winner and the TNA title is going back to TNA is going back home was Ash by Elegance. Somehow the ref missed her little crew interfering. How he missed that? I'm like, I don't have no 2020 vision. So how you miss all of that? But once again, I was like, okay. But I will say they performed well. I will, without the outside interference going on, they did, perform well. It's just that extra mess that, it was just too much. You had everybody and their mama down there at the ring. Oh God. This was a waste of time. Jordan Grace facing Blake Monroe. Blake got the win. She got the win. Um she got the win thanks to an exposed turnbuckle. And once again, I don't know what they referees be doing, because I remember where a time if a turnbuckle got exposed, the refs used to always try to cover it up, or do something about it, or the only way they didn't do anything is if they did not know or they didn't realize it or something like that. But when they see it and it's right there in their face, it's obvious. Yeah, they usually try to do something. Yeah, no, but she got that win off that exposed. Jordan went right into. I'm like, honey, turnbuckle. You don't see that, but like I said, to me the match was pointless anyway. Oh, here's another one. Lord Jesus, it was a mixed tag. Okay, it was Chelsea Green and Ethan Page versus Tyra May Steele and Trevon Heights. Okay, you got, what is it? The Secret Hervis or whatever. They're out there and they're interfering, and the referee sees this. You're not gonna send them. Okay. So Chelsea ends up pinning Tyra May, and so her little team gets the win. So they think they have done something now. They was like, yeah, we representing Canada, yay! That's whoopee. Then we come to the main event, what I had been waiting for all night long, and it did not disappoint. But I was mad because he didn't win. Okay, Oba Femi, whatever, Oba, the champion, against Javon Evans. Javon got hurt. He really does. Bless his heart. He got hurt. There's a point in the match where the referee gets knocked out, right? And Javon's doing his thing, and he pins Oba. Another ref slides in there, and he counts 1, 2, 3. And I'm thinking, yes, we got new. He did it. He did it. He did it. You just got knocked out in the ring. You're supposed to be out, unconscious. You got hit hard because it just knocked you completely out of the ring. Why this man done jumped up and jumped in the ring, and he's telling the other ref, no, no, his feet was under the rope. And I'm like, when is that a rule? I'm yelling, when is that a rule? I forgot it was a rule. I really did. Because it don't usually happen that often. Or if they do slide their foot, whoever is pinning them would, pull their foot back in so the ref never sees it or whatever. So I forgot it was an actual rule that your foot can't be up on. So I'm like, you're cheating. And then I had to think about it. I'm like, wait a minute, that is a rule. Oh crap, it's a rule. So they continue the match. Oba takes Poe Javon and tosses him over the top rope. When I tell you, when he tossed him, that boy hit that announce table and it just collapsed. I just screaming because I'm like, you can't be throwing people like that. That is a human being. Then he goes out there and grabs him and throws him back into the ring. And I'm like, You just let him throw him like he was a rag doll. What is wrong with you people just throwing my boy like this over that daggone top rope? It's like, let's see how far we can toss him. I'm like, this is not cool. So Oprah gets him back into the ring, and like he did. I was like, we were so close, but it really was. I was really impressed with Javon. I just wish they would stop throwing him around like that because I'm like, you're gonna hurt him. He's not a little rag doll. Don't do that. That's not nice. But for the most part, a lot of those matches we could have did without. And like I said, some of the matches that they have planned for tonight should have been part of the PLE. I'm like, okay, y'all got to do better with this. If you're going to do just you're going to have a PLE with just your roster and not bring in anybody from the main, because Chelsea Green don't count. I'm sorry, she don't count. I was even annoyed that she was even there. Ugh. But if you gonna bring, when they bring, usually when they bring the top ones, the ones that can pull a crowd. But they didn't do that. So if you're gonna use your talent that you have, you got to come with some better matches than what you had. Um, yeah, and your refs. Yeah, we got to do something about your refs. Lit. Raw had a special airtime of 3 p.m. because they're in the UK. So it was at 3 p.m. yesterday. When I tell you that UK crowd was lit, they was lit. That's how the US needs to be. US needs to step it up. Roman opened up the show. When I say they was singing the whole Roman Reigns song, that took I it took a hot minute because that's they was singing, they was into it. I'm like, when they acknowledged our tribal chief. Of course, Heyman and Bronson had to come out there with his daggone shoes wrapped wrapped around his neck, and then they ended up around Paul's neck, and I'm like, don't you just feel stupid? But Bronson is gonna run his behind down there. Think he gonna run up on the tribal chief? Yeah, he had something for him, and then he gonna have the nerve enough to try to steal. He was actually thought he was gonna take his shoes. Roman was like, "No, buddy, not today, not today." Like, what is wrong with you? They had to get security out there to separate these two. That took a minute, cause honey, that was a full out ongoing battle. That was a battle. Okay, wait a minute. Now, it throughout the night we had some, fairly good matches. Rhea faced Roxanne Perez, got that win. Um, then they jumped her. EO came out there to help her out. Um, EO had talked to her before her match and said, it's best they keep their distance because the whole thing she got on going on with the Kabuki Warriors and stuff. And, Rhea's like, cool, I understand, no problem. But when they jumped Rhea, EO came down there and it was on. And so when they get to, backstage and everything, she told her, she said, "Look, this is I'm returning the favor for last week." You know, and Rhea Rhea told her thank you and everything. Cool. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And Lord, here come, then here comes Oscar and Kyrie, and Oscar just going off. I'm like, lower your blood pressure, honey. What is wrong with you? It was wild. It was wild. So let's see that if we had that, I, it's gonna happen. Them two gonna feud. They're gonna feud. It's coming. It's building up. It's building up, and it's building up. And it, I have an idea when it's gonna come to an head. I have an idea, but we're gonna see how this plays out. Let's see. Penta face Kofi Kingston. Of course, you got Xavier Woods and what's the other little dude? I can't even call his name because Grayson. Yeah, they interfered. So Kofi got that win. They was gonna interfere and all that good stuff. So they celebrate. They were celebrating. They was like, "Yeah, we beat Penta. We beat Penta." I'm like, really, really? That's what y'all doing now? Okay. Mm. Now, our main event for the night. Let's get to that, cause it was some nice filler matches and the crowd was lit. I'm telling you, that crowd was lit. That's the kind of crowd I want to be with. They'll holler with you. But the main event was Braun Breaker versus LA Knight. The Braun Brawns and Paul Heyman. Okay, they're coming from they're in back, but they're on their way to go to the ring, right? Roman comes out of nowhere. Kind of he done attack Breaker. Superman punches Reed. I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That yes, that's the tribal chief. I know, the one that will ambush you out of nowhere. Don't care, just out of nowhere, just wreck you. So security comes, separate. Um, then LA, Pierce is doing his yelling thing, whatever he called himself doing. Then LA Knight comes and he jumps on Breaker. So they're fighting from the back to the ring. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Now I zoned out for a lot of their match because I don't care about either one of them. I really did. Please tell me you are LA Knight is on the outside of the ring. You know what he's going to do. You know he gonna do that running spear. You know this. Please, why he gets hit with a running spear? Please tell me why he gets hit with a running spear. I'm like, you could have ducked that, just dropped to something. You knew it. I'm like, you know what? I don't even care because you are not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So he gets hit with the running spear, gets thrown back in the ring. So Breaker's doing this thing where he's running. You know how he runs and hits the ropes, and he spears him again. So he gets the 3 count. So Breaker wins that. Well, Seth you boy, and let's see, Bronson Reed down there. So Jimmy Uso came out to assist. He came out and he came out and assisted and helped. And then the numbers got the best of them. And then you hear LA Knight. I'm not LA Knight. CM Punk's music. And then here come Punk. Okay. Punk comes out there and clean house. When I say that crowd was lit, that crowd was lit. Why was they singing the cult of personality? They music doesn't stop. They was like, we don't care about you stopping the music. We know the lyrics. And they sung that song all the way up until the point they got tired and decided, okay, we gonna stop. Okay, we finished. And then they cut it. I'm like, this crowd is something. They, I'm telling you, they did their thing. I give it to them. That crowd was on point. So they clear the ring. LA Knight is fussing. Well, seeing Punk helps Jimmy. I mean, not Jimmy J. Lord, helps Jay up. Then Knight is all up in his face. Going off or whatever. I guess I didn't need your help. Well, you was getting a beat down, dude. You needed somebody help. So they're going at it. Then Knight shoves Jay. Punk gets Knight up into getting ready to hit to go to sleep. Knight gets down. Jay super kicks him. So he's out. He just laid out, he's holding his face. I'm like, oh, he super kicked me. He just laid out. So Puck is standing there next to Jay, and I'm like, uh, what happens next? Because see, Breaker was gonna go back down there, and Seth was like, no, 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 they're doing it for us. They're doing it for us. And so next thing I know, Jay done super he super kicked Punk, and I'm like, ooh, see that? See, you did listen to your cousin, and I'm finna explain to you what I'm talking about in a minute. He kicked Punk, and Seth up to him out, yeet, and I'm like, shut up, Seth. And Jay look at him like, I don't know what you hollering yeet for, cause I'm coming for you, Sunday, dude. It's on. Now, when I say that Jay listened to his cousin, there was a backstage segment where Jay was talking to Roman, and he was like, you know, talking to him about Sunday. He was saying he didn't know who to trust and all that. He's trying, to pretty much be there for everybody. And Roman was like, look, you done helped everybody. You done helped me, the locker room, the the company. He was just, putting it out on the line. He said, you need to do this for you. You need to think about you and take, capture these moments to continue our legacy. And I was like, see, he was like, you act like you ain't been doing this for 20 years. And I was like, tell him, you ain't new to this. You true to this. You got this, And he listened to that pep talk that his cousin gave him, because when he put down CM Punk, I was like, oh, this is getting good now. So I am looking forward to Sunday now. So actually, I was impressed. I was pretty impressed with Raw. Now let's talk about Clash in Paris, because the it's been a change. It has been a change to the matches. Okay. It has been okay. We're down to 5 matches for Clash in Paris. I swear, I think that's going to be the key thing for the PLEs now. 5 matches. You get your 5 matches and you go home. You be happy and go home. I can't wait to see how this crowd in Paris is. Okay, we got the Cena. This is what we got so far. We got the Cena versus Paul match. I'm going for Cena. We've got the Fatal 4 Way. Um, for the World Heavyweight Championship, I it still stands. Either either Punk or Jay. I'm really pushing more. I'm really pushing for Jay. He needs his belt back. Um, then we have the good old fashioned Donnie Brook match. Sheamus and Rusev. Either one of them, I like them both. Either one. So, the Roman and Bronson Reed match, and of course the Tribal Chief all day. Becky Lynch, her Intercontinental Championship is up on the line, and she will be facing Nikki Bella. Nikki says she gonna leave out Paris with as the champion. I hope not. I am rooting for Becky. Now, this is what was changed. The men's Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles will not be defended at Clash in Paris. Instead, Dominic would defend his title against AJ on Raw, on next Monday's Raw. And they need to just go ahead and put that belt on AJ. He's in his final run. He should have a good run. He should go out with a bang. Um, then what was supposed to be? We were supposed to have the WWE Women's World Championship match, which was Stephanie Vakir. It was originally facing Naomi, but with Naomi having to vacate the title, is not going to happen. So Adam Pearce told Stephanie that she will not be, the, you know, in a match at Clash in Paris, to give him 1 week to work out the details, but she will get her title match because it's guaranteed automatic. She gets that title match. So he just needs to work out the details. He asked her for 1 week, and you know she said she was disappointed, but she understood, and she was looking forward to be able to fight for the title. Now, I'm wondering what he's trying to figure out. Now, there is a question that was posed: who should be the next WWE Women's Heavyweight Champion? And we're going to talk about that on Thursday show. So you can drop it in the comments who you think it should be. and we're going to discuss it and we're going to talk about it because a lot of folks have an idea of how this might play out. Um, because the way the title scene looks, as far as the women's champ Tiffany goes, it looked like it's gonna be her and Jade. All that is gonna stay over on SmackDown. NXT is handling, their all that is handling on NXT. So Raw looks like Raw is gonna be strictly Raw's folks. So there's a lot of folks that have a lot of predictions, and there's one that I'm leaning towards. So on Thursday we're gonna talk about this. Um because that match is gonna be, I think it's gonna be a very interesting match with some twists to it. So this is our 5 matches for Clash in Paris. We are all set for Sunday. Hmm. Let me look up something real quick. Let me get a start time. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Let's see. Clash in Paris. Start time. 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, it's 2 p.m. Eastern. So that'd be on my coast. It'll be 2 o'clock for me. 11 a.m. Pacific. Okay. I gotta sit my shoot, I gotta sit my Ziggy to set me a reminder because I mess around being on forgot. Okay. Knox. I'm hoping I'm saying this right. I'll find out for sure. Pro Wrestling had an event in Los Angeles. F- Former UFC champion Rampage Jackson son Raj, what's his name? Raja or Rajesh? How I gotta figure out how to pronounce his name correctly. I think it's Raja Jackson. Was involved. He from what I'm understanding, he was supposed to be part of this match. Um, Earlier in the day, Psycho Stu, the wrestler, hit him in the head with a beer bottle and had some words or whatever. This was supposed to be, from what I understand, part of all of the whole workup or whatever. From what I understand so far, like I said, I got to go through and get all the details from all the angles and everything. But from what I understand so far, he's Jackson was supposed to come in and hit him or make it look like he hit him a couple of times. It went south. Basically, it went south, and he beat the crap out of this man. When I seen one article said that he threw 20 punches. Um, that Psycho Stu was in the ICU. He was taken to the hospital. He was in ICU. Last I saw, he was in critical condition. But he was stable. Yeah, it's a lot of folks are weighing in on it. Um, um, Mark Henry has weighed in on it. It's a mess. It's a mess. I'm also now this promotion is this Rikishi is from what I saw is the CEO. It's and I've heard I've got to do some research and find out is this true, but they had a partnership with the WWE, and I heard that WWE broke ties with them because of this incident. I don't know how true that is. I do have to do some more research and find out for sure. That's why I said Thursday we will do a deep dive into this. Um yeah, it's it's wild. Um I'm hearing that Jackson had a concussion. Um I'm not sure how this. I'm hearing different things. Like I said, I've really got to comb through all of this and get all the details and everything. But some are saying he had a concussion prior, and then he got hit in the head with the beer bottle. And I don't know what triggered him, but honey, he lost it, and whew, yeah, and this is another thing. A bird goes up to Psycho Stew because you don't want to see anybody get hurt. Okay. Um. And I this I don't know who took the picture, but there's a picture that's circulating of him in the hospital. With the he's got the oxygen on him. Tubes and everything on him and stuff. Whoever took the picture and decide, yeah, I'm gonna post it. You need your ass kicked because everything don't need to be posted. You know, um, it's already a difficult time, and then you have to take his family into consideration and stuff. And if he got kids and stuff, and little kids can be little buttholes, and they come across and seeing like your dad got jacked up, they don't care about nobody's feelings or nothing. And being I said something like that to they showing, look what happened to his dad. People just don't think nowadays. There's just some things you just don't need to be posting on the internet, and I think this man laid out in his hospital bed is one of them. But like I said, on Thursday we are most definitely going to talk about this because oh my god, when I as soon as I started seeing reports on it, I'm like, wait. First thing I saw was Rampage Jackson, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know him. Oh Lord, who done made him? I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? And then I started seeing it was his son. I'm like, oh Lord, no, what's going on? What's going on? And then I started getting more and more, getting some details and stuff. But like I said, I got to sit down and go through the whole, go through all of it, and get the full understand exactly what happened from beginning to end, how we got to that point where he just snapped, you know. So, yeah, on Thursday we will be talking about the WWE's Women's World Heavyweight Championship, as well as this whole situation with Jackson. We're gonna talk about that more in depth as well. So, Raw on next Monday, which will be September the 1st. Tell you, time is flying by. Um, Raw will air at a start time of 2 p.m. I got to set me a reminder on that. But yes, Raw will start at 2 p.m. next Monday, September the 1st. So, so, Thursday, I will see you guys on Thursday. We will discuss those two, most definitely those two topics. And um, anything else that happens during, between now and Thursday, uh, any wrestling news that comes across, I will be keeping my eye out for, and we'll talk about it then. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you on Thursday.